So hello everybody, welcome to Meet the Dream Foundry. I am going to go ahead and pull up the Discord here. So I will keep an eye on that. If everybody in the audience would do me a favor and in big bold letters put question in front of questions that you want to ask us, that will make it easier for me to spot things. Other than that, this is mostly just going to be, we'll talk a little bit about the Dream Foundry and then field questions for the most of the time. So I am Jessica, except for when I am Anea. I'm the president of Dream Foundry, and Dina.
Hi, I'm Dina. I'm the Chief Compliance Officer, I think is the official title we landed on. I'm one of the board members. And Cislin.
Ooh, it's me. I'm Cislin Smith. I'm the secretary of the Dream Foundry.
Coral, you're next.
Me. Hi, I am Coral Moore. I am a board member and sometimes social media manager, though not this weekend. I was fired.
That's right.
You're so fired.
Super fired.
All right. So Dream Foundry, in case you don't know, is the organization that hosts Flights of Foundry. So we are the people who put this convention up for you. We are the reason you are here. This is our main fundraiser for the year. So everything else that we do, we fund pretty much entirely out of donations we get from Flights of Foundry. That is a crass and open sales pitch for donating to Dream Foundry. You should do that, please. We like running programs. Our primary focus is on helping people who are starting professional careers working in the speculative arts. We define professional careers as working to make a living wage off of their art. We define creatives as anybody who is making things. And we define the speculative arts as anything that is not dedicated to a realistic portrayal. You will note that that doesn't specify writer, artist, anything like that. We do not care what medium you're working in. It's all relevant, and we're kind of all are working together. And honestly, to make a living these days, you're probably doing multiple things at a time. So having a way to figure out how to navigate that is kind of important. We run a ton of programs. We'll talk about some of those a little bit later in the program as we go. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to let each of the other people who are on this panel give a quick summary of the thing that we do that they think is either the neatest or the most exciting for them. And then I will if there are any questions in the audience, we'll take some of those.
I can start again. I think the thing that we do that is most exciting, at least for me, so I'm the only one on the board who is not a professional creator like everyone else. I'm a social worker by background and a reader by hobby. And I enjoy partaking in the speculative arts, but I am not a creator per se. And for me, it is great to introduce people that are new. Sorry, my cat just bit me. That are new to speculative arts and really helping them find their way. I think that's such a great thing. A number of my friends in my private life are artists, and it has been a struggle for them to find their way. So being part of something that helps people find their way is awesome.
Coral, you're next.
Oh, I thought I was going to go last. That's fine, though. I can totally do this on the fly. I think the thing that I like most about all of our programs is that we commit to doing it for no cost. I think that's really important, especially for people who aren't probably making a living yet, doing the things they love to do and want to. So that for me is really important. It's very accessible to people who might not be making as much money as they want to.
Guess it's me this time.
Yeah, process of elimination.
So I have a real hard time picking favorites. I like everything we do, but I think one of my favorite things that we do is actually the Discord server. And I'm very invested in it, and I love it a lot. And there's a lot here for everyone. And it sticks around after the convention. It was here before last year's convention. It was here after. And this is where a lot of our other programs happen, but we have ongoing stuff throughout the year. And it's really great to see people come in and be able to find resources and support and talk with other people at different stages of their professional career and be able to learn together. So yeah, it's the Discord for me.
For me, this is not going to come as a surprise to anybody who's been around. My baby with the Dream Foundry is the Official Media Exploration Club. Yeah, you can see Sislanding. It's the OMEC because that is the best acronym one could possibly come up with. It's very clever and there's nothing wrong with it. The Official Media Exploration Club is, we run it in cycles, and it's basically it's a book club, but it's a multimedia book club. And so we pick a theme for each cycle and we spend a month on a particular work in different format each month that relates to that theme. And we have a professional who is either a practicing professional in that medium or a very qualified critic working in that medium and sort of responding to it, leading discussions around that work. And so we've done that twice. We pay everybody who leads discussions, so we're not asking for volunteer labor for that kind of effort. And it gets people engaged in a way where you can start thinking about things in multimedia format and start thinking about how format and sort of the way that you are doing things affects how a theme might iterate or might appear, and gives you different tools. It helps you develop a language for talking to other creatives. It helps. It's exactly the kind of thing that we do. And this year we're going to do something it's still the OMAC, but it's really cool. And this is the first anybody outside of the organization is hearing about it. We don't have the details yet because we're waiting to hear back on an external factor that will affect a lot of the planning. But this year we're doing it not just inside the Dream Foundry. So we're going to be collaborating with several other organizations to do an industry-wide, a community-wide version of this, where everybody, even whether or not they're on our server, we're pulling in people from Clarion West, we're pulling in Locus, we're pulling in a couple other magazines, libraries. This can run out of your local public library, where you can read along with us. And the theme for this one is Ghosts of the Past. And the novel that we are doing is Toni Morrison's Beloved. The graphic novel we're doing is the graphic novel adaptation of Kindred. And we're doing a music album, Clippings the Deep. And we're doing a podcast, which is the Anansi Sislin brain, the Anansi Chronicles.
Chronicles, yes, you got it right.
Yes. Whew. I should have put a list down in front of me. Remembering 4 things is hard. And so it's a little bit of a shorter cycle than usual. Normally we do 6 months, but it's going to be much bigger because it's going to be the entire speculative creative community. And so look forward for the details for that. But it'll be happening starting in the fall and going on for a much longer period of time as well. So we're very excited about where my baby's going. All right, I'm going to check to see if we have any questions from the audience yet. There's a shout out to Dina because writers need readers too, which is definitely true. And oh, you have been chatty people. Good job. I'm not seeing anything with giant question up front. All right, so the audience will just be stuck with my next question then, which is, what is the thing that you think that we have done so far that was the least expected to you? No fair saying Flights of Foundry.
Oh,
you.
Come on.
For anyone who doesn't have context, we invented Flights of Foundry in 6 weeks last year, right when all of the lockdowns happened, because it was going to ruin the fundraiser we were going to do, and we didn't want to go bankrupt. So that was the definition of an unexpected thing that turned things out. So pick something less obvious.
Okay, well, I've got something.
Okay.
So
right.
we have on the Discord server a pact system, actually, where you sign up and you set a goal every week and you report in the AM working channel. And you set ahead of time what your carrot and stick are, what motivates you and what demotivates you, as it were. What's a good disincentive so that you will actually do the thing. And then Jessica enforces it.
It's just a different kind of motivation. It's not demotivation.
It is, I think. Anyway, so it's been really surprising to me how incredibly popular that is. And Jessica's glares are very motivating, folks. I can attest to this personally. And a lot of people have actually signed up for glares as motivation. So that's been the most surprising thing for me, if we're not counting the convention, which is plenty surprising. But hey.
It's not surprising this year. We warned people this time.
We did. We gave a little bit of warning.
You mean we didn't open up programming and then registration all at the same time? And then be shocked how many people showed up? We didn't do that.
I wasn't contacted 5 days beforehand to quickly fix something. That didn't happen this time.
You know, if we did that in terms of percentages of overall project, you got tons of notice, Dina.
That's fair.
Okay, I think I'm gonna cheat a little bit because I'm gonna say it's something that resulted from Flights of Foundry, but wasn't like the act of Flights of Foundry itself. I think it and other virtual conventions have allowed people to connect from all over the world. And I speak about this specifically in my case because I started a magazine with someone I met at Flights of Foundry who I otherwise would never have met. And so I think it allowed a unique opportunity for people to meet and talk about things they love and start projects because of that, and do things that will go forward and, you know, change the world somehow. So I think that has been something I didn't expect at all, that happened as a result of a lot of this. Like, I didn't expect to be starting a magazine last year. I didn't expect to be doing any of the stuff I'm doing now. So that, for me, is the biggest unexpected thing. I'm
also going to cheat just a little bit. One of the big thing that sticks out to me, and again, it's because I tend to have a bit more of an outsider's view, but it's also because I saw the really positive impacts it had on a close friend of mine, who, because of some personal health issues he had, as well as the pandemic, he really was isolated, and he came to really depend on the Discord, and just connecting with people. And he's not a creator, but he loves connecting with people on the Discord, and just there's so many opportunities, not just for creators, but also for your fans to just get to know you and to be excited about the work that you're doing before you've even started it. So I think that's really cool. And he's been really hyped about different projects that people have mentioned, and it gives him an opportunity to be a cheerleader. And I see that he's not the only one, but it's the one that sticks out to me.
I know who you're talking about, and he's great, by the way. That's exactly the kind of person we love to have on the server. Just saying, and you know who you are.
Yeah. We like having him here. He asks really good questions.
He does.
And the way that he asks really good questions winds up modeling a lot of how we want people asking questions, because it's very much I don't know what you're doing at all, but I'm fascinated. How do? And he does good things for us. We like that.
Yeah, he helps open up dialogue that I think other people maybe are a little bit more hesitant to. So
yeah,
I think
does
it's
he
awesome.
Blush? Are we embarrassing him right now?
Oh yeah, he totally blushes.
Yeah, all right, because we're gonna have this conversation for another 10 minutes if I think he's blushing. That's
not actually. Don't panic.
No, you don't have to listen to this for 10 minutes. But I would anyway. All right, so I forgot what my answer was. I had one prepared, and now I'm distracted by wanting to make the person whose name we're not mentioning out loud blush. All right, fine. No, my answer is actually the fact that we're still here.
Yeah, that's fair. It's true. Especially in the pandemic year.
Especially, I mean, no, I very seriously, when things were locking down last year, we had a 5-year plan, and part of that 5-year plan was basically, these are, like, we've had at several points, these are the minimum metrics we have to hit or I'm packing up and going home. Because if we're not hitting these marks, then there's no point to what we are doing. And I am a busy person with a lot going on. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on something that isn't working. So, went into it very confident that I was right, but that doesn't necessarily mean things work. And when the pandemic came down, I was like, all right, well, fine, we have to put an 18-month pause on the 5-year plan. And we're just not going to count this time against us in measuring things. And we're still not at the 18-month mark on that, but we've kind of hit the 5-year plan marks already. Some of them, like we've hit the like the intent of them. We haven't hit the letter of them in a lot of cases, but we've hit what the purpose of those letters were. And that's just gobsmacking to me. It's so many people have, when we've been like, so we're going to do this thing, and it's kind of big and it's kind of nuts, and I don't know, let's see if it happens. And people have just come out of the woodwork and been like, yeah, let's make it happen. And that's been amazing. It has been absolutely amazing. So that's mine. We have questions from the audience now. And the first one is, let me make sure. Yeah. There's a question about how did Dream Foundry get started? And I'm going to throw that one to Sislin. And anybody else can fill in details or interrupt her as they see fit.
So basically, there was a conversation happening on the Codex Writers Forum where people were talking around and saying, wouldn't it be great if there was a thing that was kind of this shape? Wouldn't it be great if there was a contest that was like this and did this? And wouldn't it be great if there was an organization who supported beginners in these ways? And Jessica said, make me a wish list. If you could have a pony, what would it look like?
You missed an important step.
And I said, I'll help you do all the things.
The important step Sislin just missed is what I actually said was, you can't have that because this is how much money and how much work it would take. I've roughed this out while I was mad once. Here's the back of the envelope on it. And everybody went, that sounds like a great plan. Let's go do it. And I was like, writers, it turns out, are very bad at listening.
That's not how I would tell the story, but here we are. You asked me to tell the story.
So that's an important detail, I feel like.
Important detail. So yes, this scheme, this mad cat plan to build this huge big tent organization that does all these different kinds of things developed. And I looked at it and I said, I'm really good with detail work and I know Jessica. And I said, I'll help. And here we are.
I think somebody just implied that I am not good at detail work.
That wasn't an implication, it was a call out. I am the detail half of the brain.
You are the detail half of the brain, but that's because I know how to delegate to somebody who is more proficient.
That's true. I'm crap at that.
And that it's not a commentary on my personal, I am terrible at details. Let's not kid it. I'm a systems person, not a detail person.
And then we started recruiting, basically. Yeah. We started pulling other people in, including friends like, hi, Dina.
I wasn't pulled in so much as I jumped in because I love the idea, and also I like to overwork myself sometimes, and also I like paperwork and setting up nonprofits, and whereas Sislin is a details person and Jessica is a systems person, I am a process person, and I got really excited.
There were a lot of processes that needed to happen, and Dina was great at making them go.
She's also the person when I go, hey, Dina, how do I pay somebody in a foreign country and not get in trouble with the IRS? Goes and looks up trade treaties.
Yes.
She did that thing. Great. That was exciting. I while I'm correcting other people's stories, I want to make it really clear. Dina yelled at me for not having recruited her.
Correct.
She sat me down and then was mad at me for not asking her.
You were in my house saying you needed someone to do a thing that I could do.
Gee, I wonder why I was saying that right in front of you. Coral, do you have anything to add?
I think I came a little bit later to it, and it was basically the same thing. I'd heard vague rumblings like on Codex, and then I happened to speak to a friend of mine. I think it was at the San Jose Worldcon, and she was like, "Oh yeah, they're doing it," and I was like, "What? They're doing what?" And I was like, "Okay," and then I think I sent you a message on Twitter, and I was like, "Hey, do you need any help with this?" And you were like, "Sure, what can you do?" And I was like, I mean, what do you need? And it kind of just developed from there. Um, so yeah, it's been a very interesting experience for me because it's the first time I was really involved with a nonprofit at that level, I think. No, I know for sure, not think, but yeah, and it's been a wonderful experience. I love working with all of you, and I love the stuff we do, and it's great.
We heart you
Carl's
too.
okay, I guess.
I love the different answers you get.
Well, I'm rainbows and she's all black. So.
Look,
all you
my
need.
mug isn't black today. I'm using the mug with color.
Okay.
Yes, that's the Chicago
that.
flag with a waveform.
Mm.
Yeah. So look, I applied color for today. I'm being approachable.
Your coffee cup is being approachable.
What she
Dina,
said.
you know me. My tea mug is being approachable.
That's right.
So another question from the audience: if you could only choose one format, virtual or in person, for conventions for the rest of all time, what would you pick? And I'm gonna start with Dina this time.
It depends. And it depends because of what your interests are. So I like to go to Gen Con every year, and I did their virtual last year, and they are a board gaming convention. And it was pretty good on the whole, but there's something about, for me, that sort of atmosphere where I need to actually touch the pieces in order to really engage with the game. Whereas if it's something like Dream Foundry, where our focus is really more on sharing ideas and that it works, I think, pretty well virtually. So I think it really does depend on your purpose.
Girl?
I'll go next. I'm going to cheat a little bit and say both because I think, like Dina was saying, they bring different things. I firmly believe that virtual conventions need to keep happening because it brings accessibility to people all over the world, people who can't afford to travel, people who want to be involved in these kind of things, but they can't for various either logistical or economical reasons. And I love me in-person convention. Like I love going, I love meeting people, I love talking in hallways, I love hugging people. I like all of those things. But at the same time, I do feel like virtual has to continue just because it affords so much accessibility that doesn't happen otherwise. So I feel like it's vital.
So I'm going to give a little bit of context for my answer first. I am an extreme introvert who fakes being an extrovert pretty well, but it's exhausting. And also I have a lot of chronic health problems. So my answer, informed by those things, is, oh God, please, all virtual all the time. I love this. It makes it easy for me to interact because I do great in text. It doesn't wear me out as much. Like it does eventually, but it's not like I've spent 15 minutes in a room and I need to go hide for like an hour. This I can be on for all day and it works out great. And I can drop into 3 or 4 panels a day. And I also don't have to worry about getting sick.
You've gone to panels?
Well, admittedly, not at this con. I haven't.
I was gonna say.
I have done that. I have been to a couple other virtual conventions though. I've been to.
I recommend it. We should take turns being fired every year because I've actually gone to like 3 panels that I wasn't even on, and it was great.
Yeah, no, I'm
sure they're
last
great,
year's convention, I can attest, was a great convention. I just didn't start going till like August.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go to everything.
It took me all the way to January to finish going.
Yeah, I'll go to everything where I'm going to review every single thing that gets out there before we put it out there. But no, I'm 100% virtual all the time. I'm extremely happy. While I love hugging people, I want to hug only the people I know. So that's me.
My answer has I'm going to be a little bit more. I'm not going to cheat quite the same way that the cheaters cheated. I'm going to cheat differently, which is to say, for me personally, it either needs to be in Chicago, and I mean the city limits of Chicago, not the burbs. And I edited a word out of there because I know what WebEx does to the captions when I use that word. Not the suburbs, in the city limits of Chicago. And there are very few conventions who do that because convention space in Chicago is expensive. Or it has to be virtual because I am not leaving the city limits of Chicago voluntarily ever again. So that's my personal take. I have definitely enjoyed in-person conventions and done my best with Flights of Foundry to kind of make sure that all of the things that I enjoyed are available here. That said, Flights of Foundry is going to stay virtual forever and ever and ever. And it's for that reason I alluded to, we can't afford a hotel. We literally are not allowed to actually charge for convention attendance. It runs against our organizational structure. And unless we were going to charge for registration fees for attendance, we could never, ever commit to a hotel contract. Plus also, like, if anybody is going to be virtual and have absolutely everybody able to walk into the door, that's us. Like that would the limitations. Let me give an example. When we were one of the commitments we were making when we first started was that we would run a contest, which we do, and that we would have there were some elements that were going to, when we had it fully launched, that were going to be involved. And one of those was a showcase, and we're this year we're doing sort of our first test run at showcasing winners. And the other thing was going to be a big workshop for them. It's like, on the scale of one of the major workshops that are out there. And we had roughed out plans and timelines for when we were going to hit that point, but we kept running into this problem of, if we seriously meant international entrants were acceptable for the contest, we were potentially committing to an exorbitant amount of travel expenses in order to get them to Chicago for the workshop, because that's where it would happen, because I won't leave Chicago. And potentially having problems with, they wouldn't be able to get into the country. They wouldn't be able to get a visa. They couldn't get across the border. And so we were having huge logistical problems trying to solve this possibility so that we could actually follow through on all of our commitments. And we weren't looking at virtual a whole lot because so much of workshop experience is about being in person and having those moments where you're together. And what we have found is that people have learned how to fake that virtually. I don't think without the pandemic that actually would have been a viable option for us, because the cultural competency around how to engage in virtual events, like, humans didn't have that broadly enough for that to work. But now we've all had a crash course in how to make human connections through webcams in work appropriate ways. And so that's an option to us now. And that solves so many of our problems we were having where we couldn't get all of the things met. So that's really exciting to me. I'm going to check for anything else from the audience. So the audience doesn't have anything right at the moment. Let me check time before I am the bad moderator I have to yell at. We're doing all right.
20 minutes.
20 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, so I am using a nicer webcam than my built-in one, but it's sitting on top of my laptop clock.
Very crisp today. Very crisp.
We have a question.
Yeah, you can tell I'm using a better camera because I'm not pixelated and slightly grainy. But that means I got to watch the clock on my phone. So
we got a question about the contest.
Oh, a question popped up about the contest. Excellent. All right. Well, way to backseat moderate, other half of me.
That's what I do.
Sislin, I take it from the expression on your face, you want to answer the question about the contest.
I mean, I can talk some about the contest, but I hope some other people will too. So we actually don't run just a contest. We run two contests. One is a short story contest, so that's the one for writers, and we run a contest for illustrators as well. So we have an art contest and we have a writing contest, and they're each judged by professionals. They're both for beginners, and we're pretty careful about how we define beginner. And you can find all of this on our webpage with the guidelines for last year. And we offer significant cash prizes to the first, second, and third place, and a showcase, as I hope that you've been experiencing here at the convention. So that's a little bit about the contest.
We also gave
Put a
all the
link
winners
to
first pick for the workshop seats.
Oh,
So
yes, that too.
So we
Thank
haven't
you.
we're not yet at the we haven't staged a workshop specifically for winners, but we did give we sort of started gesturing in that direction. They got their pick of seats before we ran the lottery. So that was kind of really exciting, was to just go down and be like, I'm giving you things. This is so good. It's possible I have strange pleasures in life, but that was very satisfying to get to do that, because I'm just so proud of all of them. They're so good.
They're so good. And have you all seen our Griffin mascots? I'm sure you have, and they're amazing.
Art contest winner.
Yep. So just saying, they're amazing, and you should check out all their work.
Sislin, I can't with my keyboard. Can you drop the link to her webpage in the Discord channel so people can find her stuff?
Just a second.
Because otherwise my hands will be in front of the camera.
I got it.
Yay! This is the division of labor between Sislin and me. Is I think of things to do and I say them out loud, and then Sislin does them, and then everybody's like, Jessica works so much, and I'm like, Jessica talks so much. Sislin does the heavy lifting. So yeah, when we say significant cash prizes, I mean that first place is $1,000, second place is $500, and third place is $200.
Do you need me to check?
I can look. I have the page up. I'm going.
I don't want to
Thank you, Coral.
say
Yes, 1,500, 200.
Yeah, cool. So it's pretty far into the con. The fact that I can remember a number at all is exciting, because I've completely given up. Like I'm having a trauma response if you put a clock near me. Yeah, so it's significant cash prizes. The first prize place, or the first the art contest, first place is an endowed prize, the Manubo's Memorial Art Prize, and we got that endowment after Flights of Foundry last year. So speaking of surprising things that we didn't expect, the convention was not even officially over yet, I think, when I got the email being like, so I'd like to do a thing. And I was like, yes, you can do that thing. That is an excellent thing. If any of you out there would like to endow more prizes, I am mercenary, and we are up for that. That endowment meant that we could raise the prizes to something that we were actually proud of. We had cash prizes the year before, but they were tiny. But I'm up for bigger. I like big. So that'll be that. Oh, y'all have been great. You're dropping all kinds of good stuff in the Discord. So one of the things you learn about the Dream Foundry is that we have a lot of people who are competent and just do stuff, and then it works out super well. I can very honestly say that nothing has restored my faith in humanity quite like working on the Dream Foundry, by which I mean I had no faith in humanity. And now, once in a while, I feel bad about how I don't have any faith in humanity. That was a joke, sort of.
I don't think that was completely false.
Was I supposed to be laughing? Sorry, I was linking to contest winner panel items in the Discord.
Do you see what kind of disrespect the president gets around here?
All of it.
Yeah, pretty much.
No.
All right,
after the
know
convention,
there was a link for that.
There is a link for that. There's a filter.
Amazing.
You can also just do guest of honor. guest of honor.
Yeah, yeah, Coral, you don't have to filter by your name. You can just filter for people we care about. I mean, you can filter for...
We like all our panelists, probably.
I do want to say, I don't think the people who chose our guests of honor, I don't think realized Coral worked for us when they chose her.
I had no idea, actually.
I'm not sure. I haven't explicitly asked. But I don't. Yeah, that wasn't nepotism, because the programming team operates fairly independently from the executive staff, and it's, we give them their parameters and our goals, and then, access to fancy database tools so that they can get things done, and then, check in with them periodically and are like, do you need tea or coffee, or how you doing? Would you some chocolate?
Shall we throw chocolate at you? Like, it's a program.
Yeah.
And a program.
And that's kind of, and then magic comes out and they do this amazing thing, and I am just tickled pink by it every time. And so we get the guest of honor line. It was actually, Coral was like, did you do this? And I was like, I did not do that. That was not me.
Yeah, it was funny. Because you were like, I think someone's going to contact you about something. And I was like, okay. And then when they did, like, I almost didn't really read it in the way that, you were kind of expecting something, so you don't really read it. And then I was like, oh, this is not what I was expecting at all.
Yeah, no, I'd handed off contact information for you because I'm the keeper of the contact information. And so I was just like, Coral, by the way, read your email. And then Coral was like, what? And I was like, yeah, she was like, I'm so glad you prepared me for that. And I'm like, yes, that was me being a savvy person. Those were my people skills.
Moderator, there is another question.
All righty. Are we working on any other creative projects right now? That's an excellent question. Good audience. I like our people. I'm gonna start with Sislin for that one.
So I'm not sure whether you mean the Dream Foundry or the members here personally.
The question is specifically, are you working on any other creative projects? And the Dream Foundry doesn't do creative projects. So the other in there is carrying a lot of weight and implies it's personal.
Okay.
The audience member should feel free to specify if that is an incorrect interpretation.
The simple answer is yes. Very much yes. It may soon be that there are 2 members of the Dream Foundry board who have started new magazines. No promises, but
it's contagious.
It is contagious.
And let me tell you, I have never been so happy for quarantine in my life.
I'm working on this, and I'm very excited. I've got some collaborators, and it will probably be happening in the fall. I'm not going to give too many details because we're still working all the details out, but it's going to be cool, and you should maybe follow me on Twitter if you want to know more, @Sislin. So that's me.
Yeah. Coral, you got anything?
Sure. I will plug my magazine, because why not? I am the co-editor and co-publisher of a bilingual speculative fiction magazine called Constellación, and I'll drop a link in a few minutes. That takes most of my time these days. I don't my writing has been suffering a little because of it, but I have never been happier. So I consider that my creative work for the last year. I couldn't really write because of the world being on fire, but I could do that, and it's made me very happy. So,
Dina, do you have anything?
I'm always working on creative things as far as craft projects. I'm always my husband actually gets a little bit frustrated with me. I like to buy craft projects. The materials for them, I'll get started on them, and then I won't necessarily finish them. So I have probably 7 craft projects that are in progress right now, and 3 more waiting for me to get started on, and none of them are anywhere near done. It's my hobby.
Collecting projects is a very valid hobby.
Yes.
Yeah. As for me, right now, I'm in the middle of revisions for my agent on a novel that I'm obsessively in love with. Shockingly, it's set in Chicago. I can't imagine why that would lead to why anybody would guess that that might be the case, or why that would lead to being obsessed. So I'm having a lot of fun working on that. I actually started drafting it in 2019 while I had pneumonia, and I didn't know pneumonia was what was wrong with me, and I was in an exceedingly bad mood. And then it got revised during 2020 when I was also not in a good mood. So it's a very uplifting book that I enjoy working on a lot, is what I'm saying.
For anyone who doesn't know why we're laughing, Jessica doesn't write uplifting books. Not ever.
No.
There was literally a 20-item content warning list on it when I sent it to my agent. Whereas, like, I feel like it might be malpractice for me to not warn you thoroughly in this year 2020 what I'm putting in your lap. I'm sorry. I was honest to God trying to write a romance. I've invented a new genre of horror. Oops. But yeah, so that I'm actually having a lot of fun with that. That's a good time. If you want to hear some of my work, I've got a reading tomorrow, which you should drop by. I have literally no idea what time it is. Tomorrow it is at an hour. I will be awake. I will show up for it. And so check that out on Scad. It's the ANALA reading, because that's who I am when I'm writing.
Midnight CDT.
Yeah, it sounds like an hour that I. What did I tell you about putting time at me? Tell me which hour on the staffing schedule it is.
No, I'm not doing that. No. Oh yes, I also have a reading tomorrow at a time.
Yeah,
but I don't remember what it is. So
they're doing tech support in our chat. This is kind of, I'm charmed by this. This is great.
People are great.
All right, other things that we didn't plan that we love about Dream Foundry. I've got to tell the story now. Okay. When we did all of our training this year by video, because last year we did a lot of like in-person presentation style trainings, and the scheduling overhead on that for international everything was just, I was like, I want everybody to be able to see this information, but also I can't run that many sessions. So we did videos. And so we were recording for the safety training video to sort of train the safety team on how to intervene in conversations to like keep them from becoming bad experiences and whatnot. Like the very practical thing that you need this group of people to have some hands-on experience with before you throw them into it. And so we set up a test server, and we recruited a bunch of people from the Dream Foundry server to come join the test server to do fake conversations that would need safety team interventions. And we had to do like, it took us an hour and a half to record a 15-minute video because they kept self-moderating, and we'd have to be like, stop. All right. We need you to be more of a jerk. No. By more of a jerk, we meant an actual jerk. Like, no,
it was kind of hard.
It was like we had to
get so good.
Everybody would be like, "Oh yeah, this is great," and then like and I'm just sitting there. I'm like, on the one hand, this is the reason I can do things other than just babysit the Discord 24/7, and like we can actually function with the staffing levels that we have. On the other hand, this is making it impossible to record the safety video. And that's just that's not a common thing to have happen on the internet. So that's pretty great. And Sissel learned things about classical pirates, which
was pretty also great. Like
I feel like any time where you're thwarted by people being too mature and you learn things about classical pirates is probably a sign that you're living your life right.
Yes, that sounds like a win to me.
It did take a lot of takes for that safety video, though.
Excuse me, could you please be more of a jerk? You're not enough of a jerk right here.
There were at least 3 times I had to say, please be more mean.
We were at the point where we were specifically like, so Theseus, could you please role play as if you were Theseus? And somebody was like, I've got this. And like 2 minutes later, she forgot she was supposed to be Theseus and was like back to being this thoroughly decent human being. And I was like, I was feeling a little poorly at the time. I got my vaccine shot last week, and so I was like, this is so charming, but also I want to go lie down. So yeah, that was pretty good.
There was a question a little further up before we started dropping links in that I'm not sure you spotted.
What's the best way to keep up with Dream Foundry?
No, the one above that.
Oh, there's one before that. Oh, where do we see the future of Dream Foundry going? That is a very good question. I'm going to answer the second question first because it's real fast. Sign up for our newsletter. We put everything in there. It goes out once a month, usually the last Thursday of the month. You can tell that we've got cool stuff going on if it's late, because that's why.
That's how you can tell.
That's if it is late, it is because we had cool stuff going on and I didn't have time to. If you can tell that the newsletter was written by me instead of our content manager, we have lots of cool stuff going on because it got real bad. And follow us on Twitter. We do a lot on there as well. Future of Dream Foundry. I will let everybody else take this, but I'm just going to be real frank up front. We're taking over the world.
Well, we're starting with all of the speculative arts industry. But yeah, that's what we're doing. We're taking over the world. It's going to be great.
Nerds are mainstream now, so we're going to conquer the nerds.
Yeah.
I mean, I was promised we were going to take over the world, so if we don't, I'll be extremely disappointed, and I might have to file some sort of grievance.
I may have the form that you can fill out.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I think Dina did, in fact, make a Jessica didn't keep her ridiculous promises form.
There is one.
Yeah, there is definitely a form for that. In terms of like in practical terms, we've got 3 minutes left, so we're gonna be pretty speedy with this. In practical terms, what we mean by taking over the world are more giant industry-wide programs like what we were talking about with where the OMEC is going. One of the projects we've got going that got put on ice a little bit for several things, including the convention, is developing a market rubric which objectively ranks markets based on professionalism, basically, so that there's this very easy, first of all, as a market self-evaluation tool for, am I being professional beyond just hitting this arbitrary pay rate, but also for then writers to be able to be like, okay, like how do I want to sort of prioritize my submissions? And so things like that is what you can expect from us. I very seriously plan for us to be to the point where if they're like, oh, Dream Foundry is glaring at you for something that you did, you want to get your professional house in order, and that's a thing. Like I want Disney to tremble if we're annoyed.
Takes a while.
Yeah, well, but I'm starting, like, we're focusing on beginners, but that means we're getting people at the beginning of their careers and we teach them what's normal.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes it normal if everybody expects it to be. So that is kind of the really short summary of what our long-term scheme is. All right. Oh no, I opened my camera. Why? All right. In 20 seconds, each of you give a wrap-up comment, and then I'm closing the room and we're leaving.
The Discord server will be sticking around, and so should you. We have a ton of programs here. It's great. Stay here even after the convention goes away. I promise it'll be great. That's my wrap-up comment.
Dina.
Don't feel like you have to be a creator to be part of this. Like, we are here for everyone, and creators need the audience as well. So stick around. Check us out.
Coral.
Donate. We're here. We want to do things with your money that are worthy.
Donate. It costs money to run this convention. It costs money to run everything else. And we will come to a grinding halt if you don't give us money. So you can do an add-on to your Eventbrite ticket. You can find our links on PayPal. You can, on Tuesday, I will be vaccinated. If you want to drop a paper bag of cash on my doorstep, I will pick it up. Take care. See you for the rest of the convention. Have a nice day.
Thanks for watching.